Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I transformed this unused east-facing patio into a thriving edible container garden. And if you've been wanting to grow your own food, but don't have a traditional garden space, then this video is for you. I'll walk you through my entire process, from selecting containers and soil, to planting and maintaining your garden. Let's get started. Before diving in, I assess my space. This east-facing patio gets more morning sun, but is shaded in the afternoon, making it perfect for many vegetables and herbs. With my covered patio, I will also not have to water my plants as often, as my plants won't be in direct sunlight during the hottest parts of the day. This does, however, mean that I will have to water the back row of my plants on rainy days, as the rain doesn't always reach the back row. My patio space measurements are 6 foot by 10 foot with an available garden space of 6 foot by 8 foot. For containers, I'm using 15-gallon fabric grow bags that I purchased on Amazon. And here's why I love them. They're spacious enough for most vegetables, completely portable so I can move them as needed. They provide excellent water retention. Weeding is practically non-existent. They're affordable and durable. I've used bags like these for multiple seasons. And the fabric allows roots to breathe, preventing root rot. Each bag has a diameter of about 18 inches. I filled each bag a little over 3/4 full using about 1.5 cubic feet of potting soil. This leaves room for adding fertilizer and additional soil later as needed. Make sure to leave at least an inch of clearance at the top of the container to avoid soil runoff. And at this fuller level, it would require about 2 cubic feet of potting soil per container. Also, the 20-gallon grow bags have the same diameter as the 15-gallon bags if your plants need a deeper soil level. It will take about 2 to 2.5 cubic feet of potting soil, depending on your preference level. I appreciate the ease of moving these 15-gallon grow bags. I highly recommend purchasing potting soil bags that are easy to lift and manage. I tend to purchase 25-quart bags of potting soil at a slightly higher price point, but I believe this additional cost is totally worth it. I purchased all my plants from a local nursery. For vegetables, I specifically chose varieties that I can grow vertically to maximize my limited space. Vegetables like eggplants, zucchini and straight neck squash, okra, pickling cucumbers, patio tomatoes, and a variety of peppers including poblano, habanero, chili reds, jalapeno, Hungarian wax peppers, and cayenne. For herbs, I selected ones that I use regularly in cooking and have had success growing before. These included basil, parsley, oregano, cilantro, and sage. When selecting your plants, consider your cooking habits and choose varieties that you'll actually use in the kitchen. Planting process. Now for the fun part, planting. Here's my process. After deciding where you want to place your plant, create a hole large enough for your plant. Gently remove the plant from its nursery container, loosening the roots slightly. Place the plant in the hole, making sure it sits at the same depth as it was in its original container. Fill in around the plant with additional soil and press gently to eliminate air pockets. Water thoroughly until you see water draining from the bottom of your container. For larger vegetables like tomatoes and cucumbers, I plan to add support stakes to train them to grow vertically. I recommend doing this sooner rather than later as they grow fast. The initial startup involved 3 trips to purchase all the necessary garden supplies and soil. The plant purchases involved 2 trips to the same local nursery. This nursery is also where I purchased a more local organic potting soil that I will discuss shortly. The first soil purchase included 10 25-quart bags, which, as I mentioned before, is my go-to size for ease of lifting. These 10 bags were just enough to fill 7 of my 15-gallon fabric grow bags. I still have several plants that still need planting, so my amazing husband made a quick purchase from our local Target. He was only able to purchase 8-quart bags of my preferred soil. He ended up purchasing 14 bags total. The cost was significantly higher, and I wouldn't recommend this soil bag size for a garden of any significant size. It took 4 bags to fill each grow bag, and I had 2 bags of potting mix remaining. My final soil purchase was 6 1.5 cubic feet bags of a more local organic potting soil. It took 5 of these bags to fill the remaining grow bags. After all was said and done, I had 1 larger bag of local potting mix and 2 smaller 8-quart bags that I ended up adding to an extra 20-gallon grow bag. I intend to use this extra bag to mix in additional additives in the upcoming weeks. This year, I'm also experimenting with this local organic option called Daddy Pete's Potting Mix. I prefer potting mixes specifically formulated for containers rather than garden soil, which can become too compacted. I immediately noticed that this soil had significantly more mulch and less soil and less moss. It also doesn't appear to retain moisture as well as the Miracle Grow blend. I also noticed that the back row produced growth at a much slower rate. Admittedly, this row does get less direct sunlight than the other rows, which could play a large part. And if you're using soil without great water retention, I recommend placing a layer of mulch or a blend of cardboard and newspaper at the bottom of your container. This helps retain moisture and slowly breaks down to add nutrients. I would love to give a shout out to my amazing youngest little human. I have had an absolute blast enjoying his unique take on gardening. His technique is truly one of a kind. It was an absolute hoot watching him do his thing. Thanks for the assist and the entertainment. Watering routine. Container gardens need consistent moisture. And here's what my routine includes. Daily watering in the morning, making sure to water at the base of the plants whenever possible so that the water does not pool on the leaves and buds of the plant. Add an additional evening watering on particularly hot days. Always remembering to check the soil moisture before watering. Simply sticking a finger about an inch into the soil to assure that the soil is still moist. And make sure not to overwater. If your plants start wilting, limping, or changing colors, this could be a sign of overwatering, especially if only 1 or 2 plants are showing these signs. Remember that containers dry out much faster than in-ground gardens, especially fabric bags, so regular monitoring is essential. The amount of water and sunlight that each plant needs varies, so monitoring is an absolute must. There was a couple of nights when the weather dropped below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. I simply covered my plants with some extra bed sheets and the plants were absolutely fine. Our property maintenance team turned on our outdoor water spouts, and I'm really enjoying using my silver bullet pocket hose. Using the watering cans was an absolute hassle for sure, but my watering cans will definitely still come in handy when I add the liquid plant food. Plus, my son had a blast getting gently sprayed with the hose, and I was rewarded with another entertaining show. I have really enjoyed this time with my son, as he is a sensory sensitive child and is currently being homeschooled, and finding activities that we can do together that are educational can be a struggle at times. We truly are having a blast creating this edible oasis. Once again, thank you so much, buddy. Your energy and enthusiastic help has been amazing. You absolutely move to your own drumbeat, and I love you for it. In total, I purchased 3 garden stake sets on Amazon and an additional package of 100 connecting clips. I have not yet had to use the 3rd set of stakes, and I used just over half of the connecting clips. I will have more than enough Trellising supplies if my garden continues to grow vertically at this impressive rate. This project was a gardener's equivalent to playing with the popular Connects building kits. It is a great way to tear your little humans away from their beloved screen time, and it really encourages trying something new. Apparently, these connected stakes make great walking sticks as well, if you're into that. These systems are pretty easy to work with, but my little guy still struggled with attaching the stakes together with the clips. His hand strength just wasn't there. Admittedly, my little human lost some of his previous enthusiasm as I continued to assemble my trestling system. And I was completely fine with that. Thanks again for the assistance and the equally fun adventure, buddy. Vertical growing solutions. With limited patio space, growing vertically is a game changer. I've added these extendable garden stakes to support my climbing vegetables. For securing plants to the stakes, I'm using a roll of jute cord I already had on hand. But plastic garden clips work just as well. Be sure to secure the stem loosely to prevent damage as the plant grows. Trellising not only saves space, but also improves air circulation, which reduces disease problems and makes harvesting much easier. Changing it up. In previous years, I had typically only placed 2 to 3 plants per container to allow plenty of room for growth. This may be my last container garden for a while, so I decided to cram as many plants as I thought possible to get the most bang for my buck. I have anywhere from 3 to 6 plants per grow bag. The support stakes will be crucial for taking my garden vertically to encourage as much growth as possible in my limited space. And I made a critical error when planning my garden, as I didn't take into consideration that the community lawn maintenance crew would need my grow bags to be further back when mowing and weed whacking the lawn. This forced me to place my bags closer together and significantly narrowed my walking path to access all my plants. I will definitely have to do more leaf management, as I don't want the plants to overshadow each other too much. Fertilizing schedule. About 3 weeks after planting, I added Burpee's organic tomato and vegetable granular plant food to each container. And the process is pretty simple. I simply mix the plant food into an unused separate container of potting soil first. Then I added about 4 scoops of this mixture to each of my grow bags. I gently worked the mixture into the top surface level without disturbing the roots. Going forward, I'll start adding liquid plant food once a month after the 2-month mark. Container plants need more frequent feeding than in-ground gardens because nutrients wash out with regular watering. I also opted to connect my support stakes to multiple containers and plants for better support. But I didn't take into consideration that my container mobility would be significantly impacted. Plants grow at different rates, and it will not be an easy task to rearrange my containers if a plant is struggling. This is my first time using Burpee's organic plant food. I will have to see if adding additional nutrients really makes a significant difference, and if it's worth the extra effort and cost. It was easy to use and it was pretty affordable. I guess time will tell. This soil is looking pretty good. What do you think? I appreciated that I could clearly see that ashy gray plant food in the soil mixture. It was really easy to tell when I needed to add additional food to the mixture. As I only use about half of the bag, I really do feel that it is a great affordable option and worth a try for sure. This package of Burpee's plant food and my tried and true AeroGarden liquid plant food are both available on Amazon, and I have included links in my description. As your plants really begin to thrive, it is strongly recommended to try to keep most of your watering at the base of the plants. This discourages pooling of water on the leaves and fruiting buds. Although I sometimes add a light misting spray at the end of my watering just to give the top of the plants a little taste. They deserve a little love too. If you are enjoying this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Keep an eye out for my upcoming video where I show the actual fruits of my labor at just 8 weeks. The amount of fruiting edible produce is impressive. Make sure to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out. I will admit to an unfortunate mistake I will soon make this season. The next couple of weeks will be rainy and overcast with little to no sunlight. My poor sage will unfortunately become a victim of overwatering and insufficient sunlight. I may have even been guilty of making the most egregious error of over-harvesting. Luckily, this will be the only plant that will suffer this unfortunate outcome. Rest in peace, sage. Results and harvest. After just 5 weeks, my garden is already thriving. I'm harvesting herbs every 3 to 4 days, and most of my vegetables are already producing fruiting buds. The morning sun this east-facing patio receives provides just the right amount of light for these plants. They get the strong morning sun, but are protected from the harshest afternoon heat. Just watch as these plants absorb that beautiful sunlight. Fun botanical facts. Botanically speaking, these plants are classified as fruit. Not only do they have and come from seeds, but they also grow on the flowering parts of the plant. The blossoms are gorgeous and edible. The leaves and flowers of these plants are also edible and very nutritious. Even tomato leaves are edible, but they should be consumed in moderation. While they contain solanine, a toxic compound found in the nightshade family, the levels are very low, and you would need to eat a large quantity to experience any adverse effects. Many cooks use tomato leaves in dishes, such as adding them to sauces for flavor. Overall, they are pretty safe to eat, debunking the myth that they are poisonous. In fact, these plants aren't the only fruits masquerading as a vegetable. The second most commonly consumed vegetable in the United States is a fruit. Americans eat around 12.7 pounds of tomatoes per capita each year, a total that trails only potatoes. But while tomatoes are widely viewed as vegetables, botanically, they're fruits. They're not alone. Cucumbers, peppers, okra, eggplant, zucchini, avocados, olives, and squash are botanical fruits too. So what is a fruit? Why is tomato a fruit? Botanists base classification like these not on the food's flavor, nor on the role it plays in a diet, but on the plant anatomy. Botanically, a fruit is the ripened, seed-containing ovary of a flowering plant. Plants produce fruits as a reproductive strategy. Animals consume fruits, then deposit their seeds in different locations. That sets fruits apart from vegetables, which are part of the plant's body, not something that plants produce to be consumed as a way to spread seeds. Cucumbers, squash, and zucchinis have both male and female flowers. They are classified as monoecious plants, meaning that both types of flowers are found on the same plant. The male flower produces pollen, while the female flower contains ovaries that develop into fruits once pollinated. To distinguish them, female flowers have a small fruit forming at the base, whereas male flowers do not. I actually panicked at first when my zucchini blossoms were falling off without the appearance of fruit. I wasn't aware that these blossoms were male flowers typically found higher up on the plant with long stems. The female blossoms are at the bottom of the plant with very short stems and a fruiting bud. My zucchini plant clearly had plenty of both, and my panic has since abated. This actually makes complete sense, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit that I didn't even think of that. Okra, eggplant, peppers, and tomatoes are self-fertile plants, meaning that the flowers have both male and female parts and will fruit without the aid of pollinators. I prefer to encourage pollination by gently shaking the support stakes and the stems to help spread the pollen. This is a trick I learned when I started gardening using AeroGarden pod systems. And although AeroGarden went out of business, you can still find these systems and the pods on Amazon. And there you have it. I've transformed this unused patio into a productive edible garden in just 6 weeks. And I've created a space that not only looks beautiful, but will provide fresh, homegrown produce right outside my door. If you've been hesitant to start growing your own food because of limited space, I hope this video shows you what is possible with container gardening. With the right containers, soil, and plant selection, you can create a productive garden almost anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to see more updates on my container garden as the season progresses. I'll be sharing harvesting videos and some of my own personal favorite recipes using these homegrown ingredients. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or to show your own personal container garden experiences. Thanks for watching, happy gardening, and stay chatty.